Hey, aloha. This is Jeff Reinebold coming at you with another edition of Coffee with Coach. We are on the Lanai on the Big Island of Hawaii, but we have a very special guest today. And we're going to start right off with Maurice Kelly, the Vice President of Player Development for the Seattle Seahawks. Maurice played for the Seahawks. He had a long CFL career. In spite of some very poor coaching early in his career, when I had him in Las Vegas and then in Winnipeg. But Mo overcame all that, and he has gone on to a really, really fine career in the National Football League. He, as the director of player development, he is one of the first guys that the young players, when they come to Seattle, will talk to, and they'll spend time with Maurice in the barber shop, as his office is known around the Seattle complex. And he's again a interesting guy to talk to because he's probably got a greater handle on what goes on in that Seattle organization and that locker room than anybody, because he spends so much time with the players and is trusted and beloved by the players. Maurice, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me there, Bo.
All right, now I got to tell the fans, we were talking off air, and Maurice is coming to the Big Island, and now this is a guy from Orangeburg, South Carolina. When I first met him, I swear to you, had, I think it was a piece of grass or straw in his mouth. He had a camouflage baseball hat on, and you couldn't get him to say 3 words in a day. And have times changed? Because I asked Maurice to come stay at our house, and he said, Coach, we're staying at a couple of villas. And I said, man.
Hey, let me live, man. Let me live.
But bro, I'm listening to you tell that story, and I'm thinking back to Orangeburg, South Carolina. You're a high school senior, and the biggest thing in the whole world was hanging out at McDonald's after the games on Friday night.
That's big time, man. You go play the game. Afterwards, you go to McDonald's, you hang out with your buddies, listen to music, and then when the cop says it's time to go home, it's time to go home. The simple things in life, man.
I tell you what, you got a bigger, better deal right now, man. Hanging at the villas on the Big Island. Hey, you guys are right in the middle of minicamp, and I saw something today that fascinated me, and I looked for you in it because I know you always had a good vertical jump, but there was a best of 3 tip-off with a football between the offense and the defense to end practice today in Seattle?
Well, you know what? That may have been for our rookie minicamp. They may have just shown that today. So we had a rookie minicamp last weekend. And so, Pete is all about competition. That is really the motto here. We're always competing. Either you're competing or you're not. And so whether that's jumping, tipping, shooting hoops, catching the ball, breaking up passes, whatever it may be, running, eating, all of that. We compete.
Seahawk fans, I want you to take advantage of this opportunity to get a question into Mo. Make sure you let us know where you're, contacting us from so that we can read the question on the air. Maurice, you guys are going through an interesting time. You've been down this road before. You built a program, became a Super Bowl champion, had a chance to be back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Very few teams ever get that opportunity. And now with the offseason, you trade away Russell Wilson, your star quarterback. Bobby Wagner's no longer. The Legion of Boom is no longer. But yet there's still optimism in Seattle because of the fact that you've done this whole thing before. Talk about what it's like to build a football team.
Well, it goes back to what we just talked about, competing. That's one of the things that this organization, is built on. Pete truly believes that. He lives it. And so, we caught lightning in the bottle, when we had a group of guys, man, and they had the right mentality. You add that with, an outstanding coach and an organization that's going to be here to support our guys, so we're prepared for this. You never want to lose someone like a Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner. I mean, these guys were the cornerstone of our organization for years. 10 years. You watch these guys come in, you watch these guys grow, and they're going to be successful, at the other organizations, as well as when they're done playing. And we're going to continue to compete and try to get back to those things that you just talked about. You know, going on and winning a world championship, and hopefully go back to back.
Everybody's got a philosophy about how they approach minicamp, especially rookie minicamp, because you're talking about guys. These kids, some of your guys have been playing football. You know, they had their regular 12 weeks college season, then they go to a bowl game, then they've got the all-star game, postseason all-star games, then they're getting ready for the combine, then they've got personal workouts. There's been a lot of football put on these bodies. What do you guys do? Do you actually get them on the field and team stuff, do the whole physical as if you had veterans, or how do you approach your mini camp environment?
Well, you know, the mini camp is more so, you know, teaching, right? We want to get the guys in. You want to teach them as much as we can possibly teach them. But then I think the coaches like to get them on the field and see them move around. You know, to your point, they've done a lot of stuff, right? But most of that stuff is really not football stuff. You know, getting prepared for the combine and all that good stuff. So you bring them in. You want to see them move around a little bit, see how they learn, all of that good stuff. So they're here for 3 days, and then they're back. They left on last Sunday, and then they're away for a week, and then we'll have them back starting Monday. So when they come back Monday, we'll integrate them with the rest of the team. So we're in the middle of off-season conditioning or off-season program. So we're in phase 2 where it's more individualized, and you know, offense don't go against the defense. You know, they're doing conditioning stuff, they're lifting weights, and then they get a chance to work with their position coaches. And, you know, offense on one side, defense on the other side. So as of Monday, our rookies will be back, and they'll get a chance to meet the veteran guys, and we'll move forward from there.
Okay, now for a young rookie, and you've been through this, but you weren't so much a young rookie because you had already gone to the professional football, had played up in the CFL, and then went down to Seattle to start your NFL career. What's it like for them, and what do you hear as feedback? Because I know you've got a great ear to the players. What do you get from feedback about that step when the veterans come around? Because now all of a sudden you're in there with guys who know the drills, know the coaches, know the way it works, and you're still trying to find your way.
Well, I think more so than anything is the learning, right? You know, it's new for these guys, right? Yes, it's still football. I always say it's still blocking, tackling, and catching the damn ball. It ain't no way around that. I say the window where the quarterback throws the ball is a lot smaller. You know, the speed is a lot faster. And so for a lot of our guys, they see that, but I always tell them, you know, you will adapt. Just like you adapted from high school to college, you'll adapt, you know, and they're the best in the world. You know, these guys are coming from college. They're the best in the world. That's why we draft them. That's why we bring them into the fold. They just need a little time to understand what it is that they're doing. You know, they usually start off slow because they don't really get it yet, and they don't know the urgency. And so when they get a chance to see, like, they think they're moving fast and they're practicing fast when it's just the rookies. Then they come in with the vets and they're like, holy shit. Right?
Yeah.
It's even faster than they even imagine, right? And they feel like they're running in quicksand because, number one, they don't quite know exactly what they're doing yet. And so we all know when you don't know what you're doing, you're not playing at your best. You're not playing as fast as you possibly can. And so once they get a chance to break things down, understand exactly what they're doing, they'll rise right to the top.
Maurice, when you guys, and I know you're really involved in the draft, you spend time with the guys that you bring in, and I want to ask you about a guy and ask you whether you had him in Seattle. You didn't draft him, and there was a lot of speculation that you would, and that's Malik Willis, the quarterback from Liberty, right? Did you have an opportunity to talk to him? Because I met him at the draft, and I'm going to tell you something. I instantly became a fan of the kid. I love the kid.
Well, I heard all about him. I did not get a chance to meet him. We didn't bring him in. But I saw him at the combine, and just the storyline behind him. I think he stopped with some of the free stuff that he got there at the combine and gave it to someone that was homeless. It was cold outside, and he stopped and he gave the free stuff that he got to this homeless person. I've heard nothing but outstanding things about the young man, but I haven't had a chance to meet him.
Okay, talk about, if you would, a little bit. You guys took some guys that I thought, Cross in particular, the offensive tackle from Mississippi State, really, really a fine athlete. And, playing at Mississippi State, pass protection, he's probably got more reps of pass protection than anybody in the draft. Now, how do you work, or what's the plan for him as you transition him to be a better run blocker? Because you guys are going to run the football. I mean, that's who you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to leave that up to the coaches. We fell in love with the person, right? Obviously he's a great athlete. He's young and, just well adjusted, and just bringing him into the fold, our coaches will get him right and get him prepared to go out and do all the things that we need him to do.
How about the running back? Now, how special is that kid?
Yeah, you got to love that, You got to love, this young man, he bet on himself, right? Played, in the ACC, decided that it was time to move on, went to Michigan State and did big things. And so we're excited to have him.
Mo, I watched him play against Michigan, and, that's a big rival game. And Michigan got after his tail for a lot of the game. But I'm going to tell you something. He showed great competitive heart. In addition, you can see all the, stuff, his quickness, his balance, his vision. You could see all that stuff on the tape of other games. But I wanted to see what he was like when it was hard for him, because you know as well as I do, the only thing you're guaranteed in pro football is adversity. And when it was hard and they needed plays, and he just kept pounding away till he took the top of it off. And I gained a tremendous amount of respect for that kid in that game.
Lucky to have him. We're definitely lucky to have him.
How's he going to fit in now? Are you guys thinking with Rashad and that you're going to be by committee, or just let it play itself out, or what's the plan?
You let these guys go out, and you let those guys go out and compete, man. Obviously Rashad Penny did an outstanding job for us, but the coaches will work that all out, and to have, like you said, a home run hitter, in the midst with Penny, we can't go wrong with that.
Well, Maurice, I think that's one of the things that you talk about all the time. And every time we talk about the Seattle Seahawks, that word keeps coming back: compete. They're going to have an opportunity to compete. You're going to compete for a chance to be on the roster. Michael Bennett, who you guys took off the practice roster in Tampa Bay, is a kid you and I have talked about an awful lot of times, came to you, and even though he was undrafted out of A&M, practice roster guy in Tampa Bay, you gave him an opportunity to compete. And what did he do? He turned it into a great career in Seattle and was instrumental in those Super Bowl teams.
Well, I can tell you, we want to take credit for Michael Bennett. We had Mike before he went to Tampa. He came straight to Seattle out of A&M, and he did such an outstanding job. He forced us. He made our roster right out of his rookie year, and he didn't play those first couple of games. And so you kind of think that, okay, he had an outstanding preseason, and so he made our roster because guys that as big as he is and can run as fast as he could and did all the things that he did. I think he had maybe 5-6 sacks during the preseason. So we were, you couldn't put him on the practice roster. He made our active roster. And but he didn't play in the first couple of games. And so you think that you can slide him back on the practice roster. And that was not the case. We had to release him to put him on the practice roster, and Tampa ended up bringing him in. And I think 10 teams tried to claim him. He went to Tampa, did his thing in Tampa, and then when free agency hit, I think 3 years after the fact, he came back to us.
Well, I spent some time at Sky Sports, and every year we bring Cliff Avril, another one of your kingpins of that defense. And to listen to Cliff talk about his Seattle experience, really, it's amazing because he has nothing, and I mean nothing, but good things to say about the organization, about you, about Pete. As a matter of fact, it's almost like hearing a guy talk about his college program. Like he really loves the Seahawks. And, that was such a collection. That Legion of Boom was such a collection of personalities. and you got Richard Sherman, Mike, you got Michael Bennett, you got Bobby Wagner, you got Thomas, you got Avril. You know what I love about you guys is you let players be who they are.
Yeah, I tell you one thing again, that it starts from the top, right? John and Pete, I commend them because, in a lot of places we want to put people in a box. We want them to talk this way, we want them to act that way. At the end of the day, they're grown men and they're going to think how they want to think. But if you can come in and give us an honest day's worth of work, you compete your ass off, you can be who you're going to be, and that's one of the things that I love. All the different personalities, and we've seen them all. It was a damn circus, and I love every minute of it. The personalities, they will challenge you, they will question things, but one thing that you knew that you can hang your hat on is they will compete their ass off when it was time to go to work.
Well, I
Practice
don't think there's.
competitive is all get out.
I don't think there's any question about that because I know that your practices are, and you talk about rookies getting shocked when they come to the National Football League. Fans, you got to understand the Seahawks practice at a pace that I've never seen another NFL team practice at. You guys get flat after it from the time they step across that line till they step across the line going back. And I think that's a lot. That has a lot to do with why you've had so much success over the years.
Yeah, and like you said, those guys were tremendous. You brought up Mike, you brought up Cliff, Brandon Mebane, Red Bryant, all of those guys, man, they were outstanding guys to be around. Big time jokesters, but they were better men.
Mo, are you still doing your work for the league at the Rookie Symposium? Because I know at one time you had a very, very, big part of the Rookie Symposium. Talk to the fans about what the symposium is actually designed to do and how it came to be.
Yeah, so the Rookie Symposium, which we don't do anymore, it used to be a combination of all of the rookies that were drafted. We would go to one central location. We would alternate locations. We would go to San Diego one year, and then the next year we would go to Florida. So we would just alternate year to year. But all of the draft picks, we would bring them all down to a central location. We would have an opportunity to give them a whole lot of information in a short period of time. So the things to look for, the things to, from financial education to everything, what to expect when you get paid, family, friends. It was a lot of information in a short period of time. And sometimes it could be like a system overload. There's too much information in a short period of time because we would go like 3 days, 3.5 days, but it was sun up to sundown. And really good information, but how much are the guys really retaining? So what we did was, instead of doing that, each team had an opportunity to do their own symposium. And so now, which I think is outstanding, because I can bring our guys in when they come here, and it's not just for the drafted guys now, it's for all of my rookies, and I don't have to give them all of the information in 2 or 3 days. We have a whole process to work through, so when they come in on Monday, I'll have my first meeting with them, and it's all about expectations, letting them know, hey, all the stuff, the hay's in the barn now, right? If your goal was to make it to the National Football League, okay, you've accomplished that goal. Now, how long are we going to stay? What's the next goals, right? What's the expectation? This is what we expect out of you. How are you going to become a pro? It's one thing to say that, I want to go to the league, but you have to act as if you're a pro. This is your job. And so we're talking about those things. We're going to help them with time management. We're going to talk to them about stress management. We're going to talk about money, psychology of money. We're going to talk about family and friends. All of the pitfalls that can trip you up from chasing your dream. You're here, but how long are you going to stay here? If your goal was just to make it to the National Football League, cool. But I know it's guys like myself who was not drafted, who's chomping at the bit. You got some guys who were drafted, still kind of pissed off that they weren't drafted where they thought they were going to get drafted. You better get over that real fast, because You know, that's how things work. It happens really, really fast.
Mo, you know, when you talk about transition, right? You transition them into pro football. And on the other end, once they've made the club, you're starting to begin the process to transition them out of professional football. So your work with a player never really ends, whether it's, you know, like Cross, who's in, you know, in his first week of being an NFL player, and you've got other guys on your roster that are looking at this as maybe their last season. And you know how there's nothing guaranteed anyway. The contracts might be guaranteed, but the opportunity to be on the 53, that's not guaranteed. So, you know, how are you able to individualize it with, you know, you're dealing with what, 65 or 70 guys in this process?
Yeah, well, we start off with 90. You know, we start off with 90 guys. And so you got 90 different personalities, you know, and how are they seeing things? You know, I was just talking to one of our players today. It's just like my motto is begin with the end in mind, right? 100% of our guys will get injured, you know, but how are you going to react to that? You know, this is only a short period of time in your life when you got an opportunity to do it right. And that's a whole lot to ask for a 22-year-old to get it right. I mean, just think about being 22 years old with a bunch of money in your pocket and all of the trappings of the world. You know, sometimes you lose focus. And so we're asking these guys to hone in for the next 7, 8, 9 years, and then you'll have pretty much what you want to have, and then you can get a chance to chase your true passion. Like I always tell guys that I always thought that football was my passion, but that was not the case. Football was just the stepping stone or the platform for me to be able to chase my true passion, which is helping people. You know, so the football part got me, but then, you know, once I got in and figured things out, it's like, man, you know what? Like my true passion, my true calling is to help people. You know, but football was that catalyst to help me get that and find that. And that's what I want to. Sorry, one of my guys sitting on the window. Quadrant. I'm on live right now. You want to say hello to the people?
Hey.
What's going on, big dog?
What's up?
We're out here in Hawaii. I'm talking to my boy Mo Kelly.
It looked nice out there.
He overcame bad coaching early in his career.
Oh,
and it was me.
It wasn't you. It was him. It wasn't you. It was definitely him. Nah, just send me that. Send me the number, and then
he can leave now. You know, we got him paid now, and he don't know how to act. He's just talking to people any kind of way. Quandre did.
Mo, how important is it that you incorporate the veterans into that process of education? Because one voice, you know, obviously your coaches have a part in that process too, but your voice, but the veterans, you know, your good veterans, how much do you lean on them to help the young ones?
I definitely do. I mean, it's nothing like peer-to-peer. You know, Quandre, you know, even though he's the class clown, he is one that's trusted, that, you know, guys listen to. And so a lot of times if I need him to get with somebody, you know, a lot of times, again, we spend time here in my office, and the younger guys that come in, you know, they just sit and they listen to guys like Quandre, guys like Mike, Bennett, and Cliff. These guys have a wealth of knowledge, and I always use them. You know, it's nothing like the peer-to-peer. I just had a real estate roundtable last week, and Cliff was one of my keynote speakers, you know, because he's doing a whole lot of real estate. You know, guys connect with that, you know, and so it plays a huge part. These are men's men. You know, when you start talking about different things, different obstacles that they had to overcome, and, you know, their time in the league, like I can always say, oh, well, I did this, that, or third, but these guys that have the name, the guys that in the locker room with them, it carries a ton of weight.
Well, I appreciate you, Mo, taking this time with us today. We're going to bring Michael. Come on back in here, and let's. I know we got some people that'd like to throw a question at Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got for us, Mike? You there, buddy?
It's late at night. I'm on mute. Sorry. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Mo. Hey, everyone watching. First question, Mo, is from my man Colin in Dublin. Sorry for throwing this on you, Jeff, as well. Mo, it's come out in the last couple of hours. Seattle are going to play Denver Monday Night Football. Are you excited with all that going on, Russell Wilson? It's a great game to kick off the season.
Was that? Oh, that was supposed to be a big deal or something?
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. No, I can't wait to see my guy, man. Russ is my guy, man, and I know he's going to do tremendous, and I know he's going to want to come in and put on a good show here, coming back to Seattle, and like we always talk about competing. We're going to be out there, and our guys are going to compete their ass off, and I know Russ will as well, so it should be a great show.
Next question, lads. We got 3 questions. Second question is from Ian in Norwich. Ian wants to know how pumped you lads are going to Germany this year. I think the GM may have put the rabbit out of the bag when he said he was learning German in January.
Well, we just had a couple of our guys just got back. I mean, our head equipment manager, EK, and our football ops guy, they just landed and just walked in maybe 10 minutes ago. So they went over to check things out, and they were really, really happy, number one, to get back. But they had a great time there, and we're looking forward to going.
Mo, I'm going to tell you something. That stadium is Alliance Stadium is absolutely gorgeous. You will be the first American football game ever played in that stadium. And I think your fans and your team and everybody that's going to travel to Munich is going to thoroughly enjoy that experience.
Well, I tell you, we got to bring Mario with us. I mean, he's the guy out there, Mario Bailey. Mario is here working.
Mario is the king of Germany now.
He's the king over there, so we're going to have to bring Mario with us.
The last question here is from Simon. Simon's in Glasgow saying, Mo, it's been a crazy offseason for the Seahawks in both good and bad ways. Really looking forward to the future as a Seahawks fan. How excited are you guys for this new season and this new opportunity with new talent on this offense and defense?
Well, every year is a challenge, man. I mean, we can't downplay it, that losing Bobby and losing Russ is not going to be a big deal. But those guys in the locker room, they're chomping at the bit for their opportunity. It's their opportunity to get out there and show what they can do. And so we're elated to have an opportunity to go out there and compete our ass off and see what happens.
Maurice, I'm going to tell you something. I don't think if anybody wants to discount the Seahawks, they better think again, because I know you guys will, you're going to throw 11 of them out there every Sunday, and you're going to compete your ass off, like you say. And again,
let's sneak up on a couple people. Shh, we don't say much.
I'm going to tell you now. I'm not letting the cat out of the bag. I'm just telling you. I know you, first of all, and I know the way you guys work, and I know the way you compete, and the things that are important in that organization are the things that contribute to making championship football teams. There's no secret. I mean, you got to have talent, obviously, number one, but you have to have talent, and then you got to be able to cut it loose. Or, I think that's one of the Pete's things, like just let it rip. And that's, the ability to let it rip is unique, I think, in football. And I know the Seahawks are going to let it rip this season. I appreciate you very much, my man.
Always love, man. Always love. Anytime.
And again, thank you for everything that you continue to do for us. And I hope to see you when you get your family over here in June.
Yeah, I'll hit you up on all of that.
All right. I appreciate you, Mo. Thank you.
Thanks, Mo. All the best, man. Thank you. Yeah. Big shout out to Mo. Some technical issues with Jeff earlier on, and he came back on. Busy man. You're a busy man, Jeff, as well. How are you? You good?
I'm doing good. I tell you what. How about the story he told about the fake schedule?
It's so.
It
good,
was Quandre Diggs, was it not? That he got.
I think so. I watched it earlier on, and I was watching. It was just like the actual reaction was hilarious, man. And I can't remember who it was, but somebody walked up and was like, "That's just pure bull." Like that's not
okay.
happening.
So let's let the viewers know what happened. So Maurice had a file on his desk that he put a big sticker on, said in red, put confidential over, and then he left. He made up a schedule, a Seahawks schedule, and left half of it hanging out of the file. and then left his office. And I got to tell you, his office really is like a barbershop. He's got more players in there all the time, walking in and out. And one of the players who he knew would snoop around, he got a hold of the thing, copied it, and came back in and was was complaining because Mo had the Seahawks on the road 4 games. And it was like the best prank of the whole schedule release thing. I think it was fantastic.
It's so good. Check out the Seahawks social media. And before we talk about the schedule release, Mo sort of said it there. Historic for them to be one of the first teams to play in Germany. Incredible opportunity they have. And it's like so many Seahawks fans in Germany, Jeff, and they're going to absolutely love it. And
yeah, and he talks about more. He talked about Bailey. He said Bailey, right? Okay, that is a young kid that Mario Bailey played at the University of Washington, then came over to NFL Europe and was a absolute superstar in NFL Europe for the Frankfurt Galaxy, and came back year after year and ended up playing in the NFL. But his status as really the first American superstar in Germany in NFL Europe makes him a really special guy for Seahawk fans and for German fans. So I'm sure Mario is going to be involved in having the Seahawks, out in the public in Munich, because he is truly an iconic guy in Germany.
Let's hope you're there as well. This guy in Germany, we're going to have Das Crack and Das Frankfurter in Munich on November the 13th. I keep getting those weeks mixed up. That's week 10. I keep thinking the Broncos game is week 10, but it's not. It's week 8.
I saw some NFL news. I'd like to kind of pound around and then.
Have you seen the schedule release, Jeff? It's just come out over the last 20 minutes. Whenever you started going live,
I did not see it. I saw some of the leaks that came by. This whole thing is fascinating to me because, you watch, the NFL is going to figure out a way to make the schedule release a full-time media event with a television show and the whole dancing girls and the whole deal, because that's just the National Football League. But what do you got? Give me the best games.
Well, we're kicking it off. Kickoff is the Bills against the Rams, week 1, the 8th of September, 2022, 8 p.m. Eastern. Oof, 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 oof. I'll see you in SoFi, yeah? See you there.
Bills and Rams, right?
Bills, Rams, kicking it off.
How big is that one? Josh Allen with the Bills. Everybody's saying going to be the Super Bowl champion this year, defending Super Bowl champion with the Rams. It's a fantastic game, fantastic start. 2 marquee quarterbacks. Couldn't get better.
I don't have a lot of games because it's going to leak. It's going to come out in an hour and 20 minutes, and I'll be in bed by then, Jeff.
How do you feel? How do you feel about the Broncos Seattle game with?
I think it's a sort of game. If you're going to put it in prime time, put it Monday Night Football. Let's see it. Obviously Mo's off. Who knows how Seattle's going to play this year? But realistically, when they bring in Drew Lock, it might take time for them to gel. It makes sense for ESPN to package that as a week 1 game and to really big it up, because it's a big game. Russell Wilson, it's going to be very interesting to see how the reception that he gets in Seattle. He brought that team a championship. He was their main guy for the guts of 10 years. Well, around 10 years. In terms of the Broncos schedule, do you want an exclusive live?
Give me something good about the Broncos.
Right. We can't. All right. Okay, here we go. The Broncos are playing. Well, we know they're playing the Rams on Christmas Day. Okay, that's week 16. They play the Chiefs in the early window. That can't be flexed on New Year's Day. And they play the Chargers week 18. Now that, Jeff, could be. Those are 2 normal games. They have 5 primetime games, and they have the London game, and they also have those 2 last games. That division. So you're presuming if they're playing the Chargers week 18, the Chiefs are playing the Raiders probably week 18. That's going to be nuts, and it's going to be intriguing to see what happens.
That is validation for having a marquee quarterback, right? Because they want Russell Wilson on primetime. They want those matchups, Mahomes and Wilson on primetime. I'm really fascinated to see who the Christmas. It's a different Christmas Day kind of schedule.
I've got it now if you want it.
Yeah, give it to me.
I'm just literally, man. This is funny. This is like the one show where I'm googling stuff constantly here. So I said the first game was the Broncos against the Rams. That's in the middle section. We've got the where is it not coming up? Okay, it's not popping up. I thought I had it. I've got the Thanksgiving one, but there's talk of the Packers playing on Christmas, and there's also talking of maybe the Bears, but I haven't seen it. A couple of ones that stand out. I think the Bucks play the Chiefs week 4 Sunday Night Football. There's a few other big ones, but the ones I told you about there now that I should never have said are 100% happening, and the
Well,
full
I
schedule
think
releases in 1 hour.
from what I heard, Dallas and Detroit again are going to be hosts on Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving, yeah. It's Dallas. Dallas play Green Bay week 10. That is the 9 o'clock like UK time game, the same day as Munich. Oh, what a day that is!
We got some great scheduling done by the National Football League, and it'll be really interesting and exciting to watch these teams play.
You got a question, Jeff, here from
Pardon?
Brandon in Wales. Aloha, guys, from Edinburgh, Scotland. Dolphins Pats week 1. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, it's probably just been announced. Can't wait. Excited to see what Tua and the Finns can do this season. Got some weapons. Exciting.
Yeah, I think that's right, and it was interesting. I wanted to hit on this. There was a little blurb of news out that Frank Smith, who's the offensive coordinator at Miami, has now had an opportunity to work with Tua for, on the field and actually get some work in. And it was interesting, his comment that he said there's nothing that they have to limit in their offense based upon Tua's abilities. That whether it's throwing the ball deep, throwing on the run, running the stretch zone, any of the bootleg or any of the stuff that they did in San Francisco is all open to him. And I think that's really a positive sign for Dolphin fans. And it's amazing to me how the media will not let Tua's arm strength go, right? Because apparently there was a video of him throwing a ball to the cheetah in practice, and he didn't lead him, and the ball was a little underthrown, and it was now he doesn't have the arm strength. I'm just telling you, the kid has plenty of arm strength, and it's the accuracy that is the more important thing. But that's going to be an interesting to watch what he does in that new offense down in Miami.
I can't wait to see what happens with the weapons, and that division's intriguing. What happens New England? You got Mac Jones going into year 2. You got a Buffalo team that many people look at the favorites. The Dolphins have really maxed up on their offense there. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I'm not going to talk about the Jets, but
they Patriots, interestingly enough, traded Jarrett Stidham this week, and they traded him to the Raiders, which obviously for the Raiders I think is a good move. There's a kid that was a 4th round pick. A lot of people projected him after Brady left to be the starter, and then it didn't work out. And he backed up Cam, and then hurt his back and backed up Mac Jones after they drafted him. But he'll go to the Raiders into a system that he knows, to a coach that he knows. And I think for the Raider fans, that gives you a solid backup. And again, in this day and age, you better have some quality backup players, particularly quarterback. How about this one, Mike? Let's talk about sharpening the pencil. And this guy makes almost as much money as you.
Wow. Okay.
Trayvon Walker, right?
Yes.
First pick of the draft. Just signed his rookie contract with the Jags. All right. $37.4 million. 24.4 of it came just for signing his name in a signing bonus. All right. It's all guaranteed money. Okay. 4 years with a 5th-year option, which all rookies in the first round get. But I looked at his statistics, his college statistics. In 3 years at Georgia, he made 61 tackles, right? He had 9.5 sacks, right, in 32 games. And you are making 37.4 guaranteed for 9.5 sacks in 32 college football games. Now, they list him as a linebacker, and that's what fascinated me more, because that tells me that they're going to be in the 30 and they're going to try and use him, move him around, and turn him loose a little bit. It will be really interesting to watch that kid's progression, and I hope he does it. I hope he does. I hope he has a great career. But that's a lot of money for a guy who was not a productive college player. I
agree, and the whole financial side of it, you're talking 24, so for just signing, it's like this is Jacksonville all over, isn't it?
It's one of those ones where if it doesn't work out, you can imagine how the fans are going to howl. It's got. Remember when the Jets drafted Kyle Brady over Warren Sapp? and the Jets fans went crazy in New York. This one kind of reminds me of that, especially if Aiden Hutchinson has a good career in Detroit. Hey, another one got to talk to you about, because I want your feedback on this one. Wide receiver KJ Hamler arrested today in Denver.
Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy.
All good.
Okay. What do you mean all good? You're good with it?
No, I mean I'm good. Like, I mean, you're saying about Hamler. Yeah, don't worry. Jerry Jeudy, literally like 2 or 3 hours ago. Not even that long ago.
And it was for it was an interesting charge. They got him for tampering, and apparently had something to do with some sort of domestic violence. There was really sketchy news, and I didn't know if you'd heard any more. But on a positive note, KJ Hamler ahead of schedule. And that, to me, is going to be a key for those Broncos, because that kid has special ability, after catch ability. He can be that guy in the slot opposite Cortland Sutton. I think that kid is a really, really good football player, and I'm glad to hear that he's ahead of schedule in his rehab from ACL surgery.
Yeah, the RFO sheriff tweeting tonight that Jerry Jeudy is innocent until proven guilty, of course, and I hope that resolves itself very quickly. I couldn't believe it when it happened. Jerry Judy's a guy that's dropped too many balls, and this is a huge season for him now. Massive expectation, but you're damn right in what you're saying about KJ Hamler. Russell Wilson has got weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Bringing back in Melvin Gordon as a backup to Javonte Williams on the run, but having KJ Hamler is he's going to work so well with Tim Patrick. So I can't wait, man. It's going to be, hopefully, please God, a great season. It'll be me, you, and the boys in SoFi, and not in SoFi, in Arizona in February.
That I tell you what, don't count them out, right? Because they've got an awful lot of tools on that defense, and it's good to see Alex Singleton running around in a Broncos uni.
I was very fortunate to be on Broncos TV this week talking about the London game, and I brought up Alex and how I thought he was going to be like the Shelby Harris of that team. So I know he's one of your guys, one of your agents guys as well. Hoping to hopefully talk to Alex on your show and maybe talk to him as well somewhere else very soon. And he seems to be enjoying himself there so far. Jeff, I have to go soon. I'm up in 6 hours for a live show. Apparently, you're coming on our show tomorrow. Is this true?
I am going to be on your show, but I'm not going to bed, right? Because you've got breakfast with the Irish NFL guys. What is an Irish breakfast? What is an Irish breakfast?
It's basically the exact same as an English breakfast, but it's far better. You got like soda bread and like proper bread, and the sausages here are better than England. Like, I'm not even joking. We'll have to. Why didn't we do it in Dublin? We should have done that in Dublin. I never even thought we should have done that. That
Dublin trip was so fast, and it was just a great time. Hey, I appreciate you, man. It's great being with you today. Great being with the fans. Fans, thank you very much for weighing in, getting us your questions, not only to us but also to Maurice Kelly. And again, to Maurice Kelly, Vice President of Seattle Seahawks, outstanding interview and a great opportunity for our fans in the UK and around the world to catch up with what's going on with those Hawks.
Jeff, chat to you next week, man. Mahalo.
All right, my brother.